Hello, everybody, and welcome to your reading. We are going to get a collective message from Spirit, whatever Spirit wants to say to us on this beautiful Sunday. So let's get right into it. Let's see what Spirit wants us to know. And actually, Spirit was kind of pulling me in to do this reading, so I'm interested to see what Spirit has to say. What do you want us to know, Spirit? Okay, so Spirit wants to talk about alignment, communication, co-creation. Oh, sorry. And ether, the seamless, unspeakable. Wow. Okay. So this is an interesting message, actually, because right here, coming into alignment with something you want with somebody else, okay? So this is about a co-creation between you and another person. Whether this is a business you're trying to build, a trip you're trying to plan, a goal that you're both reaching for, a relationship where two people are trying to come together. It's different for all of you, as this is a collective reading, but where in your life are you co-creating with somebody? Because what I see is with the ether coming in, the seamless unspeakable, is there's about to be a manifestation that's going to unfold. Like you are coming into alignment with another person, like your energies are aligning and it's creating a beautiful manifestation. It's like finally, it's like the stars align, everything is perfect, it finally happened. So wow, to that opening message. Let's pull some more cards and go deeper. You know, and this could, because we have the two dolphins there, and then we have the three beings here with the world in the heart of this one. This could involve you and another, or you and like a couple other people. Something's coming into fruition though, and I feel it's beautiful. Again, like all the stars are aligned, is what you feel and think about it. All right, so we have 9 of activations, 4 of lessons, manifestations totem, 6 of lessons, activation spirit guide, and the manifester. See? Yes. Okay. So there's great determination, okay? There's great determination within you, within another, but there's been a period of stillness, of quiet, lack of movement, lack of progress, lack of growth, despite best efforts, best intentions, okay? But there's been a lesson, because we got 2 lesson cards coming out. There's been a lesson to be gained in the stillness, in the lack of progress, in the lack of movement forward, okay? And I know that with the lessons along with the manifestations totem, all right? And, you know, this is number 11 and this is number 11. So you got 1111, portal energy right there. And there has been a lesson that you've been gaining in that stillness, that stagnation, what you felt was time wasted or just feeling very frustrated, you're actually gaining, okay? And so in saying that, really think about what it is that you have gained through the stillness, the stagnation, the lack of progress, the lack of movement forward, despite your best efforts, all right? You've been learning how to really harness energy. And, you know, with the 6 of lessons coming in, the butterfly there, This is moving on. The lesson has been gained. You see the book there, it's now closed. The transformation is complete, and now we're moving on, we're moving forward, okay? And there's something that's been activated within you, and your spirit guide has been leading you to a manifestation. And again, this is a co-creation, okay? So I really feel there is another energy involved in this message for you. It's not just you know, directly to you. It's you and somebody else, or you and a couple other people have been talking about doing something, thinking about doing something, but for whatever reason, there's been no movement forward. And now there's just a series of activations that's going to take place, and a revelation of what's been gained, and a deeper sense of understanding, like divine timing and the importance of that, because divine timing is truly just your readiness to receive something. And there was some knowledge that needed to be gained before you fully proceed forward into the manifestation, the manifester right there, which is pretty powerful energy. So let's pull some tarot. Wow, Seven of Wands wanted to jump out. Three of Swords. Knight of Pentacles, yeah, see, very slow moving energy. Four of Cups. Four of Pentacles. Nine of Wands. Okay, so Nine of Activations, Nine of Wands would be the same card. If this was a traditional tarot, that's what this card would be, the Nine of Wands. And the Manifestations Totem and the Knight of Pentacles, similar energy. All right. So Seven of Wands, defensiveness, feeling a need to really stand your ground, to assert yourself, or like you feel like you're pushing against the world or the energy, so to speak. And there is some sadness here about the lack of progress, the lack of movement. You're bored. You're ready for the energy to open up through the Four of Pentacles. And there's a determination, even though I do feel a bit of weariness, there is a determination within you to really make this happen, make this move forward. And energy is going to shift and change. Yeah, it's like, don't get stuck on where you're at now or the lack of progress that you've made up to this point. You've been learning something, whether mentally, spiritually, emotionally, healing even. Like, you weren't ready. And now you are, like, you're coming into that energy. You are aligning into that energy of readiness to receive. Sorry if you hear that noise out there. My neighbor is mowing and trimming up the lawn. Spring has sprung. Wow, look at where I cut the deck. Lovers and Ace of Cups. Yeah, I know some of you, this is around a relationship where it's like stops and starts, or haven't been able to get things moving. Close the deal, so to speak. Make the move. Things standing in the way. Confusion. Okay, King of Wands. Six of Pentacles. King of Swords. Two of Swords. The Hierophant. And the Page of Cups. Okay, yeah. So with two Kings coming out, with this Two of Swords and this Six of Pentacles, this Two of Swords represents these two Kings to me, and the energy of finally getting mental clarity where we were once blocked, and finally movement of energy, being able to take action, move forward where we were blocked. Why? Because now is the time. The readiness is there within you, okay? And before, it wasn't. Even if you felt like, I'm ready, I want this now, there was something else that had to be understood, had to be learned, had to be gained. And now here it is through this Page of Cups, like the manifestation comes in, the manifestation comes to fruition, okay? But I keep going back to this sense of readiness. And like your spirit guides, spirit, the angels, passed down loved ones, like saying you weren't ready. Even though you thought you weren't ready. You've gained something since the starting point till now. And if it wasn't that you weren't ready, somebody else wasn't ready. Like, I know that, like, it wasn't time. The cake wasn't done baking. Even if we're drooling to taste it, it wasn't ready. All right. Oh, look at, we got Broken Heart ×2 coming through. Magician in the Mirror. NB. 7th Chakra, Archangel Uriel. And, oh, nice. Cornucopia with that 11 again. Yep, so good things are coming in, okay? With this here, nobody likes to go through hard stuff. Nobody likes to experience sadness, pain, betrayal. Nobody likes any of that, right? However, the things that really challenge us the most are what grows us the most. If life was perfect all the time, every day, all day long, we would lose all sense of motivation, right? What would drive you forward to take action, to do things if everything was just perfect? And so with this, you've got to recognize that the challenges are not punishments. It's not bad karma. It's bringing you the growth needed for what you are truly, truly asking for. Even if at the time you don't see any connection, all right? Because sometimes, we're reaching for, let's say, greater financial stability, okay? But our heart is really broken over, say, the ending of a relationship, of a romantic relationship. And even though we're reaching for the money, it may not come, okay? Because something needs to be completed here in the broken heart, and the lesson, all of that, before you could reach. Sometimes things don't seem connected, but they are. It's like learning this lesson over here in square A is actually what is needed by the time you get to, say, square M. All right. And so it's like every step of your journey, whether it's experienced as good or challenging, it all is relevant. Every bit of it, even when you feel like things are not in motion, when you feel like things are just stagnated, there's something to be gained, and get very present in that. I don't like it either when I'm feeling stuck, when I'm really hurting over something. I don't like it. But I promise you, something that really does bring me comfort is, okay, this isn't happening to me. This is happening for me for some purpose. What is that greater purpose? What's that deeper understanding? And the answers come. And then the growth is there, and the hurting stops. When you have the growth, the hurting stops. Like, the growth is what heals you. And don't look at anybody else and what's going on in their life and try to compare you to their experience, because you'll always feel small. Like, because we only have an outside perspective of anyone in any situation. We don't know what their vibration is, what their thoughts are, their predominant emotions, and that's why Some people who are just awful people, it's like good things happen for them. It's because in their mind and in their heart, like they're in a different space of I deserve this, I deserve that. Like they have that grandiose mentality about them, and so that's how they harness the energy to come towards them. Okay, and I'm not saying be grandiose like that and be a jerk. No, know your power, but use it and yield it in a beautiful, positive way. You know, a lot of times when people start out in very rough beginnings, all of that, and then they finally have great achievement, great success, they get all smug and big headed about it, right? You don't have to be like that to know your worth and your value. And don't let, watching somebody else achieve great success, all of that, deter you or make you afraid or even envious, because they're on a different path, a different trajectory than you. And every negative person that you encounter, that you experience, use that as a mirror, a reflection of something that you never want to be. You know, I think about it. I used to really react when people were just really rude, and it's like, what is the point in that? Like, why do you have a need to be rude to me as a total stranger, right? Like, some people are just so full of just darkness and misery, and they're just mean, right? And I would be like, okay, you want to be mean, I can be mean right back. But now it's like, it's not even worth it. It's not. When you're dealing with somebody's negative energy like that, that's telling you where they vibrate. And you don't need to get pulled down or sucked in to what they're doing, who they are, any of that, because it's going to pass. And when we come up against an energy like that, because I feel for some of you, it's like you see somebody as like in your way of what it is that you want to achieve or that you're reaching for. And it's like, this is going to dissipate whatever that is that you feel is in the way. Because with the crown chakra, you're going to have an activation at the crown chakra, which brings in deeper clarity and motivation, or finally knowing which action to take, which step, which direction to move forward. Because then here we come again to the cornucopia, which is this manifestation of what you're desiring, what you're hoping for. And so it's like, it doesn't matter who tries to stand in the way, who tries to thwart your plans. Energies always balance themselves out. All right. If somebody is trying to put a wedge between you and another person, the wedge is going to blow up in their face. All right. But it's when we choose to get, like, we want to give that same energy back to somebody, right? We reinforce what they were trying to do in the first place. But when somebody's trying to hand you negative and you refuse it, and you're like, you know what, I'm not even going to participate in this, then it's like your energy is free of that, and it's still in their hands. And so anybody that you feel is trying to stand in the way, take a different approach with it, and don't try to push against them or whatever. Surrender, release your grip, and let the universe sort it out. And sorted it out will be. I see that with the cornucopia. Like, I see you're going to get what you want. Okay, but the waiting or the challenge to that, there's great growth to be received within that experience itself. And anybody, again, who you feel is trying to be in the way of you, they're just a challenge that you can overcome. And you don't do it by lowering yourself to their level or choosing to participate in their negative, low vibrational behavior. It's vibrating above and over them. And you will. And I feel like that's part of what's being gained. Like, the lesson is changing your strategy or the way that you would typically go about something. You're going to go over it. Like, you're going to vibrate above and over it. Okay. And again, if you and another, or you and several others are trying to create something, achieve something, and somebody's trying to get in the way, let the universe sort them out. Follow your heart. You know what's right for you. Don't give up. Be determined. There's healing coming in. I see a lot of sadness and like confusion. Like, I've been doing everything right. Like, why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? And again, I can only give you the message I see in the cards, which is there's some greater lesson that's being offered to you through this slowness, this challenge, this stagnation. Oh, sorry. There's some sort of deeper lesson that's being offered to you. And you're going to come into that knowing with the activation of the crown. And in that, like I said, the manifestation comes. Like the stars align. And just know that that will be. And in that higher belief and that knowing of it, I feel like that's what rises you above anything that you see standing in your way of it at this time. Don't lower yourself. Don't get caught up in other people's bad energy and what they're doing, because eventually the ego, even though somebody who's very grandiose, it does command energy and it does bring success. That ego does get too big and they will eventually self-sabotage. Seriously, anybody who is dirty, negative, evil, low, no good, all of that type of sketchy energy, give it enough time and they expose themselves. They sabotage themselves. But it's when we try to get involved and really try to change situation or really expose somebody or teach somebody a lesson right back, then it just comes back on us and blows up in our face, right? Yeah, if there's anybody like that, I'm not saying be a doormat and just let somebody do all kinds of crazy stuff. Obviously not. Those of you where that message applies, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Where it's time to stop feeding the beast there, cut off the energy there, and it will go hungry. All right, it will expose itself. It will sabotage itself. Okay, so let's see. What last deck? We'll go with this deck. Aspiration, nourishment, contemplation, celebrate, and grace. Yeah, see? And look, we've got abundance on the bottom, but we've got something that's going to be cause for celebration. And look at the aspiration and the nourishment. Listen, also, with this co-creation, if you've been trying to do something or achieve something and you have like zero support in your friends and your family, like there's like, oh yeah, whatever. Nourish yourself. Continue to reach for your dreams because they'll be eating their words through your success. And sometimes we do have to be our own biggest fan and our own biggest supporter and our own biggest believer in what we're trying to do, what we're trying to be, what we're trying to achieve. Because, it's good to be loving and supportive and be there, right, for others. But when we're loving and supportive, we're giving to somebody else's dreams and goals and wishes and desires. And when nobody is rallying for you and being supportive of you, that's when you've got to pull your energy back and give that encouragement, that love, that nourishment, that support to yourself. And yeah, it does hurt. And no, it's not fair when you've been there and you've been supportive and you've been encouraging, and then somebody just like can't be bothered or wants to make fun of you in what you want to do and what you want to be. It hurts. It really does. But also, that's the lesson of I need some more strength. I need to grow my strength. That's why this is happening. And growing that strength is by being there for you, by not giving up on you, by believing in you, by being your cheerleader. All right. Sometimes you've got to have your own back and be your own biggest fan. And like I said, I know it sucks. It's not fair. I've been there. All right. And if I didn't have my own back and I wasn't my biggest fan at one point, I would have no success on YouTube. Absolutely not. It's such a hard thing. I've watched Kiri, trying to grow her channel, and to grow a social media channel on any platform, it's not an easy thing to do, right? Especially around like, stuff that has a stigma attached to it, like tarot and all of that. And if I was not my own biggest fan and stood up to people who told me, well, it doesn't matter what they told me, didn't believe in me, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing this reading right now. And so just know that. Sometimes you've got to believe in yourself, and that's the lesson in itself. Is because once you go through that one time and you truly had to have your own back from start to finish, it changes you. It makes you know your own inner strength and what you're capable of. And nothing activates like your confidence more than your own success that you completed with your own hands, all on your own, when nobody told you that you could and nobody wanted to be there to help and nobody could be bothered. There is no greater feeling than knowing what you have gone through and what you've overcome for the success that's now within your hands. And that's how I will close this message, is don't give up. Every bit of your journey has great purpose. Let no one deter you. And if you've got to walk it alone and have your own back and believe in yourself, do so. But make sure you keep moving forward, you keep yourself motivated, and you always take the action that you need to take for your greatest good, especially when it's hard and you want to give up and you're feeling alone. That is the time to push forward even harder. All right, so that is what Spirit wanted you to know. I am sending you so much love and light. Take care.